I don't give a about this whole country.
Because these politicians are all the way up my bussy.
These have really grown. I love them, and so do all the boys in this neighborhood.
So the Wi-Fi password community, what I call the woke LGBT people on TikTok, they're still not doing well.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
We're gonna break it down and react to some of the craziest TikTok videos that I came across this week in this bonus episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Up first, this gay man has an interesting message that only made me slightly nauseous for President Trump and Republicans.
Why do you make everything about politics? You always talk about politics. Because these politicians are all the way up my bussy. These politicians keep f***ing me. They keep f***ing me. That's why. They don't leave us alone. That's why. Every day it's a new law. Oh, bitch, you can't be f***ing Asian. That's not allowed. How about them f***ing apples? That's why.
I don't think anybody, least of all President Trump, wants to be anywhere near your bussy, sir. God help us. And I don't even understand what he's talking about, because he's done a lot of things, some controversial, sure, but Trump hasn't done anything so far to affect or harm gay people or Asians. What? What are you popping off about, babe? Especially in such a graphic and nauseating manner. And this whole video is framed about well, why are you making everything around politics as an influencer? And he's like, well, because they won't get out of my business. Or what he calls his bussy. Well, maybe the real reason people are asking you, why are you making everything about politics? Knock it off, is because you don't know anything about politics. And so maybe you should just stick to other stuff. Wild thought. I know. Hot take. I know. Because I saw this one video, they showed me another video from this dude, and this was not a one-off. Apparently, basically all of his content is insufferable. Take a look at this second one.
Oh, Trump supporters, I have something that's going to scare you. It's a college degree. Are you scared? I know, I'm sorry for scaring you. I have to cover my name, because what Kendrick say? I know they love to sue. You know they love to sue. Am I scaring you? Oh, God, don't. It's okay, look away. Do you have one of these? I don't think you do. No, you don't. You don't have one of these. You know why? Because you voted for a dumbass. So dumbasses vote for dumbasses. Yikes.
Get it, guys? Trump voters are just dumb and uneducated. What a new one. We've never heard anything like that before. Oh my God, 100,000 people liked that video. Has 500,000 views. Seriously, they're still doing this. Look, I didn't support Trump, but I know some of the people here in Michigan who did, many of whom are incredibly intelligent, many of whom have advanced degrees, or maybe they don't have degrees, but they're smart in other ways. It's just such a caricature and such a straw man. It could actually be that they disagree with you in some pretty profound ways and have very different priorities than you, but aren't inherently stupid people. Especially when you yourself are not exactly the reincarnation of Einstein, to be casting aspersions like this and throwing shade, it's so sad and it's so divisive. I just really don't like it. And also, if you're going to talk crap about people so openly and so specifically, why are you covering your name? Say it with your chest, right? Because his account has some name on it that's not his actual name, and he covers up his name on the diploma. If you're going to insult half the country, say it with your face attached. Say it with your name attached. Or why should anyone take you seriously? Clearly, you are the one who's scared, sir. Up next, we got a non-binary video. The community that keeps on giving us terrible takes and Delulu TikToks. Take a look and try not to pull your hair out.
Life is so peaceful when you're a femme, AFAB, non-binary person who doesn't use that identity as a battering ram to speak for the broader trans community. It's so peaceful. If only this demographic did not constantly have people walking around making us look like clowns. Anyway, I will always ride first and foremost for the trans girls, and if you're doing some shit that they're telling you to stop doing, you shouldn't be doing that.
This chick is a femme, assigned female at birth, non-binary person. Babe, that's just called a woman. You're just a female, okay? I am a whole ass homosexual, and I am confused by this stuff because it makes no sense. It is incoherent and relies on bizarre gender stereotypes. Like, you are free to do your makeup, looking out here like a clown, like knock yourself out. Doesn't make you not a woman, doesn't make you not female. You still are. And it's so funny how this is like some sort of non-binary trans civil war or whatever, and she's out here saying like they're making us look like clowns. Baby, you literally got up and made yourself look like a clown. And I'm not trying to insult you. That hair, that makeup, that's literally must have been what you were going for. And I'm sorry, but miss me with this whole like listen to trans voices thing. That's dumb. Listen to people based on whether they're smart or know what they're talking about, not because of what box they check off on the sentence census. You sound like a cultist. We got much more, and honestly some creepy and crazier stuff coming up after a quick message from today's sponsor. So you've probably heard about Bitcoin and its consistent growth in value over time. And with inflation eroding the value of the dollar, you've probably wanted to get in on the Bitcoin action, but it just seems so complicated. That's where today's sponsor, Coinbits, makes it incredibly simple. With Coinbits roundups, you don't even have to think about it. Just link your credit cards, debit cards, and bank accounts, and every time you make a purchase, Coinbits automatically rounds it up to the nearest dollar and saves your spare change in Bitcoin. It's literally the easiest way to start stacking Bitcoin. Set it, forget it, and watch it grow. You can sign up and get Bitcoin in less than 3 minutes. You can even set up automated savings plans, like a digital piggy bank that grows with Bitcoin's value. And your Bitcoin belongs to you. Withdraw it to your own wallet and stay in control of your money. Coinbits is family owned and made right here in America with world-class customer support. Stop missing out. Go to coinbits.app/Brad and start stacking Bitcoin effortlessly. That's coinbits.app/Brad, or the link in the description or the pinned comment. Guys, this is not financial advice, and be sure to do your own research before making investment decisions. Now, back to today's show. Up next, this trans TikToker is basically just like bragging about supporting treason. Take a listen.
If the US goes to war with Canada, I'm on Team Canada. That's where the wood-chopping lesbian lives. I don't give a damn about this shithole country, but I would die just to touch her arms. The choice is very clear.
Well, she seems stable and patriotic. Babe, if you hate America so much, like, go. Get out. It always annoys me when these woke people, first off, they just take for granted the fact that if you are some sort of minority or gender diverse identity or whatever, well, there's basically never been a better place in human history than America to live. Like, the amount of freedom that you have. And I know a lot of society doesn't enthusiastically support you, but you are still free to live your life in a way that you want, in a way that you would never have been in most places and most times of human history. So maybe you should have a little bit of gratitude. But if you really hate it so much, I've always said we should crowdfund, taxpayer fund tickets, one-way tickets for people like this out of the country to the country of their choice, free of charge. The taxpayers will cover it. You just got to renounce your citizenship. And then we'll take it and we will staple that citizenship and give it to a hardworking immigrant with skills that wants to come here from India, bring in some coders or somebody who will add value to the country and get your ass out. It's a win-win for me, babe. That's how I see it. So you want to go to Canada? We'll help you pack. But they never actually do. They just yap. And then for some reason, the moves never seem to materialize. Up next, this non-binary TikTok star just went on one of the most bizarre and emotional meltdowns that I've seen on that app. And that's saying something. Let's take a look. And remember, this is the person that bragged about doing fraud and putting incorrect information on their government documents, and then the state of Florida came in and like changed it and was like, you messed around, here you go. Well, this person, James, is back with more. Let's take a look at his latest video.
It feels impossible for me to make this video for some reason because it's so emotionally charged right now, but I have to tell you some of the good things that are happening. I've been talking to my doctors and my therapist a lot about how I am more of a woman than I initially anticipated. I don't know why that feels like such a huge thing to say. I don't want to leave behind anybody in the non-binary community. I will never forego that label. It will always feel like something accurate to me.
I feel like maybe I'm more of a woman than I thought I was. What does that mean? Explain that without using crude gender stereotypes. You can't. You literally cannot. Okay? You're a male. Your sex is male. You want to be androgynous, you want to wear women's clothing, whatever, all of that's fine. I have nothing against quirky people or people who don't fit gender norms. It doesn't make you more of a woman unless you're defining a woman as somebody who likes makeup and dresses or like some other kind of retrograde sexist BS. And who are these doctors and these mental health professionals that are affirming this man sitting in their office being like, I think on my inside I'm more of a woman than I knew, but also I'm still non-binary. Y'all should be actually helping this person who is clearly not well, not encouraging and affirming sheer and utter delulu. Like the incoherence of it all. I'm more of a woman than I thought, but I'm still non-binary, and that label will always be accurate. Well, non-binary, which is fake and not real, but is supposed to mean neither a man nor a woman, but you're saying you're more of a woman. I can't keep up. Literally, like as a gay person, as somebody who follows this stuff, I cannot keep up. How is a normal person supposed to keep up? Just an everyday person supposed to keep up with any of this? Of course it's going to seem ridiculous to them, because it is. And y'all are lumping it in with us normal gays and lesbians and bisexual people who just want to live our lives. You're lumping us in with this nonsense and this incoherence. Stop. You're not helping.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Why is this such a big thing? I have felt more of a call than ever to get in touch with who I truly am. And it's just coming out as a woman every single time I see myself in the future. I see myself as a woman, as a mother. I see myself turning into my mom. The good parts and the parts I don't want to turn into. Like, I'm sure we can all relate to that. Oh God, this is such a disaster. I wanted to make a happy video. I swear to God, this is good. I had my first, where are my glasses? I can't even see you. This is going horribly. Sit there for a second. I had my first appointment where I switched from estrogen pills to injections, and it was so emotional. I looked at the nurse and I was sobbing. She's a friend of mine, and I said, I feel like me for like the first time, and I don't know why. I feel like I keep having all these new moments of discovery, and it is not a coincidence that it's happening in this political moment. I know that for a fact. Because I am digging my heels in as hard as I can to the transness that everyone hates, because I want, as I always say, I want to love us twice as hard as they hate us, and sometimes that starts with myself.
Okay, I kind of feel bad for this person. I mean, what is this hysterical and emotional meltdown? Why did you need to film yourself and post this to your hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers on the internet? I hope the creator revenue is worth kind of looking crazy on the internet like this. Like, this is not helping y'all beat the mental illness allegations, babe. It's not. I actually think that this creator, James, it just touched on something accidentally insightful. So a lot of this stuff, I mean, there have always been some people who are genuinely transsexual, who have a medical condition called gender dysphoria from a very early age. And, you know, they've always been a tiny, tiny slice of the public. And that's a real thing. But then there's these like non-binary people who have hopped on this new trend that like emerged from Tumblr in 2015 or whatever. And when they're being pushed further into madness, like this person so clearly is, I think it's a good example of reverse polarization. It's like, so as the right and as Republicans push back on this stuff harder, they double down on it more. But that is not actually a logical way to approach anything, let alone profound matters of your own identity. It's like, you shouldn't be defining yourself reflexively. You shouldn't be deciding where you stand, what you think, just based on the opposite of whatever the people you hate think or view. That is actually kind of like a form of brain rot, of like tribalism corroding your ability to critically think. Just because Trump is saying non-binary isn't real, which based, doesn't mean that you have to go about there and be like, I'm even more non-binary. That's not actually how logic works. There's no logical reason to embrace or feel something more just because other people don't like it. But I guess I can't be surprised that this person is not doing a lot of logical thinking.
I had my first laser hair removal appointment the other day, which is something I never thought I was going to say, but now all of a sudden I look at my face and I'm dysphoric as about it. And you know what? Off it goes. These have really grown. Honestly, I love them, and so do all the boys in this neighborhood. So.
Sorry, what? Look, I'm a believer in freedom and bodily autonomy, so if a dude wants to take estrogen and grow breasts, it's a free country. But don't hit us with this delulu. all the boys in the neighborhood are not into that. Maybe a tiny, tiny percentage are who are bisexual or whatever. And I don't care, but like to claim all the guys, to claim just all the guys around town just can't resist you with your beard and your 8-cup breasts on your male body. I'm not buying that cupcake. I don't think anybody is.
As our bodily autonomy as trans people is being stripped away, I feel a sense of survivor's guilt having these euphoric experiences. I understand that it is a product of my privilege, of my thinness, of my whiteness, of the fact that I like have a savings account now I didn't used to.
Oh my God. Of course, it's a privileged person. My thinness, my whiteness. Oh my, do they know how they sound to normal people? Do they have any idea how strange the way they talk and see the world is to anybody normal?
Please understand that when I'm telling you this, the privilege of having these experiences is not lost on me. And the reason I'm telling you this is because I want everybody else to have them. I want my joy to be witnessed so it doesn't get taken away from other people. Every trans person deserves this kind of joy. Every trans person deserves access to medical care. Every trans person deserves to be loved by the world and the community that they live in.
Babe, is the joy in the room with us? Because I'm picking up a lot of things from this video, but joy isn't one of them. Intense confusion, trauma, hysteria, delulu, but joy? It's not giving joy to me, babe, at least. And I'm sorry, but if you're trying to make the case, and like, look, I really believe that adults should be able to do whatever they want with their own bodies. But if you're trying to make the case for this as like essential science-based medical care, your doctors affirming all the delulu espoused in this video isn't helping that case. It's simply not.
It feels so weird to be having these wins right now. And also, it is the thing that is giving me hope. So I hope that I can impart that to you so that you can continue fighting for people like me, because I just want a whole world of like happy trans people crying about how like great their latest HRT appointment went. Like I just want us all to be okay. So thanks for watching this disaster of a video. I love you. I'm gonna go wash my face because it is full of salt. Love you, I love you, I love you. I'm reminding myself that joy is resistance, and I'm reminding you too.
So I appreciate the self-awareness that this video was a disaster. But frankly, James, that might be an understatement. Your family and friends need to stage an intervention. They need to take your TikTok away. They need to get you a new doctor, a new counselor who will give you some tough love and some real help ASAP, because these wins that you are identifying as having look like L's to me, babe. And they look like L's to anybody who isn't blind by rabid left-wing ideology having infected their brain and seeped through to their eyes. The wins are not winning. It's not giving winner, okay? And the non-existent joy is not resistance. It's a cry for help. Okay, that's how this is coming off. Look, I have mixed emotions about these kinds of videos because on one level, I truly do feel bad for these people. They're clearly struggling. But on the other level, they are conflating this nonsense with my rights and my life and my acceptance just as a gay person. And I deeply resent that, because these two things have nothing to do with each other. Me just being gay, getting married, having a family, living my life, and whatever that was. It's like, this is not a Venn diagram. There's no overlap. It's two circles. These things have nothing to do with each other, but y'all have conflated them in the public's mind, and then we wonder why support for gay marriage is in decline for the first time in years. Like, the math is actually pretty simple there. And people like this are in some ways victims and in some ways suffering and do deserve our compassion, but in other ways they are truly, truly doing incredible amounts of harm. That's just my take. Let me know what you think in the comments about that doozy of a video. Up next, another non-binary video. They just keep coming. Like, these people must get long breaks at Starbucks to be making constant videos about non-binary shit. Like, let's take a look at this one who explains their pet peeve.
I'm going to admit a pet peeve that I have, okay? I have a pet peeve of when people go, oh, well, if you look androgynous, I'm just going to assume your pronouns are they, them, and that you're non-binary. But if you don't look androgynous, I'm just going to assume it's she, her, or he, him. I don't like that stereotype, okay? When you are non-binary, you get to look however you want to look. I am non-binary. I look like I traditionally should be using she, her pronouns. But if you assume my pronouns are she, her, you would be wrong. Because let me tell you something. The non-binary community does not have a specific look. If you're assuming that everybody who's androgynous is non-binary and that everybody who is non-binary is androgynous, you would be wrong. Our community is beautiful and full of a lot of gender expressions, and instead of putting that energy towards assuming somebody's non-binary and uses they, them pronouns, how about you use that energy to just look at somebody you don't know and go, hi, what are your pronouns?
Tell me you have no real problems in life without telling me that you have no real problems in your life. If this is the thing you're resorted to complaining about, that your made up identity is taken the way that you explain it. So like, of course, we don't have to be androgynous to be non-binary. We can just be like exactly like a woman and still be non-binary. Then non-binary doesn't mean anything, which I actually agree. So you're sort of accidentally correct. But if you're like waiting on a world where everyone's going to walk around and ask each other their pronouns, even though we all know what each other's pronouns are, like, and it's like 0.01% of the population that uses like the made up pronouns, that's never going to happen. So if you keep holding your breath, waiting for that to happen, you might pass out. I seriously would love to have a conversation with this woman. I might even reach out, but it's pointless. They'll never agree to it. And say like, what does it mean that you're non-binary? Seriously, explain it. Explain it without doing sexism. Because you're a woman, you look like a woman, you present feminine, but you're non-binary. Oh, I don't feel like a woman. Explain that. Explain it in a way that's not sexist. You can't. But of course, they just live in little TikTok echo chambers. They only interact with other non-binary, sapiosexual, two-spirit whatevers. And so none of these ridiculous ideas get challenged. And they're resorting to making videos about how their pet peeves are that they can't present a certain way and then have people treat them as if they are that way. Like, what did you expect, babe? Welcome to the real world. I don't know what to tell you, but you are not a victim. You're just annoying. All right, everybody. I don't think I can handle watching any more of these videos without incurring actual brain damage. Please hit that like button to reward my suffering through all this stupidity just for your enjoyment in viewing. You sick person. You like to watch me suffer. Do comment with your thoughts and let me know which one of these was your favorite. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't yet, and we'll talk again real soon.